I personally don't even use social media on weekends. I delete everything off of my phone. WhatsApp, Instagram, TikTok, X, Facebook, everything is off of my phone on the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. Friday night it goes off, and then I'll bring it back around like Monday at 12 a.m., 1 a.m. But it's for the sole purpose of focusing on interperson relationships that I have as much as I can, and my relationship with God. I usually reserve time on the weekends where I can just spend time with God. And I know I'm not going to be too God-like for this episode, but some of the things that I see that this generation can't do is you can't even hold a conversation looking at people in the eyes. And that's genuinely upsetting. You want to pull your phone out because you have some sort of social anxiety. And the reason I'm talking about this is because something has been ticking me off for the past week now. A friend of mine, I actually love the kid. He's a very good kid. But he said something that ticked me off. He said, Miraz, can you tell me how much a PS5 costs in America? And I said, I don't know because I don't play video games. I hate video games. I can't spend my life wasting it on video games. Like, yeah, sure, what? I have 56 kills on PUBG. Does that matter? No. It's lame. You don't even know what the actual. Like, you talk to a person in the army and ask them how many people they killed if they're your relative. They don't even want to tell you. It's not something they're proud of. It's not something that magically makes them of higher rank or stature in any way. That's not something you're ever proud of. But you all have been indoctrinated by video games to just say, oh yeah, that's cool. What the hell? Anyway, so I tell him I don't know, and I search it up, and I'm like, it's $500-600. The kid is in India, so he tells me over here it's 50 to 60K, and I'm like, this is the same thing. And I said, if you're willing to spend that much money on a video game console or whatever the heck it is, you're better off spending that much money traveling around the mountains in India and learning about the culture and getting to know people in case you want to start businesses there. Let's say you want to run an apple orchard when you're 30 or 40, or a kiwi farm or whatever. At least you know people in the villages where the soil can handle the plantation. I was 20, I was 19. I went to a village where there was no network for 3 months, and sometimes when the rainstorms hit, we didn't have electricity for up to a week. That's just how we were living. And it's a verifiable story. I have people who still go there from time to time. Village was probably the length of, like, the main market was probably the length of 500 meters. That's it. That's the entire market. Only two, three good shops to go to, but a tight knit community. And I learned what tight knit community. I'll be doing a vlog at the end of this year or early next year of that place. I'll be traveling there again in India soon, and I'll show you exactly how I used to live, where I used to live, what I would do there for 3 months, and the people that I came to know and how my experiences shaped me over there. But that's what I was doing primarily. So for 3 months, I was just getting to know people and learning more about the culture, because it's important for me to know. I love the place, but I didn't know why the place was the way it was. And I learned so much more that there's 22 villages. They're all basically the same family, but they're divided by castes. But there's 22 villages. They share the same festival year round. They have two festivals. I'll explain more in detail when it's in the backdrop and I can actually explain it to you. My rent there for 3 months was 9,000 rupees, and if you're looking at it in dollars, it was $110 of rent for 3 months. One bedroom, one bathroom, one kitchen. That's it. $110. That was the rent for 3 months. Eating and stuff is very cheap. So if this kid actually went to any one of the villages, or just decided to stay 1 month at a time at any one of these places, within $500 you can imagine how much you could do, right? Because I stayed there. That if that's 3 months of your life, then you can spend the next $400 or $350 on eating and enjoying time with people and learning how to talk to people and getting more confident with them. And I spent a lot of time outdoors. I was taking people on treks. I was running a zip line. I learned how to run a zip line while I was there. I started doing activities like we already had the zip line, but on the off days when there were no people showing up, what we would actually do was we'd go about, so the zip line was about 700 to 800 meters, and there was one point where it was 1,000 foot drop. Like if you fell, it was a 1,000 foot drop. Not that you'd fall anyway. It was all like German specialists came there to set it up, and anyway, we would actually go to the middle point because there were two lines going down, and I'll leave the video for you guys to see it. But we would just hang there and chill and talk because the view was gorgeous. Anyway, the other thing that we would actually do was we would go about 150 to 200 feet down the zip line and then break, and then we'd crawl back. So it was like a shoulder, tricep, bicep, back, abs workout, and forearms as well. And we'd do like 5 or 10 rounds of just races. We'd compete. It was a competitive environment. But that was in person. It's not like my character is doing it for me in a video game. Some of you need to wake up because video games aren't your life. I don't care if they pay Twitch streamers, but would you actually want to be known for something that degenerate? Like I'm actually being serious. Most of these kids, even last year when I was in India, a lot of kids started asking me, "How can I fix this? How can I fix that part of my life?" I was like, "Get out of your phone first." You want to see social media as a distraction, that's your entire life. You're looking at other people live their life or pretend to live their life, and you want to say that you want me to fix your life. I can't do that for you. These people wanted to ask me because I was rarely on my phone and I was having a lot more adventures. Over there, I don't really need to worry too much about money. And everybody wanted to be in on my life, they wanted to be a part of my life. But that was because I never wasted time sitting on my phone. Never. I stopped watching Netflix and all that garbage too. The only purpose I would watch it for was to write scripts of my own for TV shows. And that's when I actually, speaking of the village that I was in, I actually wrote poetry, 3 books of poetry within 2.5 months. And this is the third book of poetry that came out of that place. The cover was designed there, the rough draft of the cover. The manuscript was written there. I had all the time in the world. I had all the associations, I had interesting conversations. You wouldn't even expect half the conversations I had with people in the villages there. I could, when I go there, believe me, you will see at least 5 to 10 videos of different things that I learned there. I'm going to try to segment them into like 15 minutes or 20 minutes most, at most. But that's what I was doing there. I was learning about people, I was learning about culture, I was learning about how they structured their lives, the way they built their homes. They're all wooden homes that no ACs, no fans, nothing. But the way they've built their home with wood and clay makes the house warm in the winter because of the sun and cool in the summer. It's very interesting. They back then they didn't have any technology or whatever. That's just the way they built, and their houses are wooden, 3 stories. The door is probably yee high. This is like, no, wait, so like 4 feet. That's how big the door is. But they live in an amazing way, and I'll show you the apple orchard. I have most of this already planned up in my mind. I'll take you to the apple orchard where I spent a lot of my time. Unfortunately, I won't be doing the treks just because, I mean, I could do them in a day, but that's not worth the time to shoot and do it just for a video. But regardless, this is the point that I'm trying to make. If you are my age or around my age or younger than me, you need to stop spending that much time on your phone, that much time watching TikTok and Instagram. I can't tolerate it. You need to fix your brain. You need to start telling your brain that you can't tolerate half the stuff that you see on Instagram or on social media, Because most of it is lies anyway. The longer you listen to it, the longer you're going to become a part of that lie.